Welcome to the Daily Devo. My name is Diana. Today we are talking about the story of crossing the Jordan River. Today we are talking about the story of when the people of God crossed the Jordan River. And they crossed the river in obedience to what God asked them to do. And along the way, they were remembering what God had already done in the past. This story is found in Joshua chapter 3. Check it out and read through that entire chapter today. I think you'll enjoy it. Well, here's the deal. God is about to lead his people through the Jordan River. And the Jordan River was a natural boundary marker in the land. And crossing the river, it was not just a physical act on their journey to the new land. It was also an act that made a statement. God was about to lead his people through their current barrier into the promised land. Well, listen to this. It's found in Joshua 3, verses 7 and 8. It says this. It says, "And the Lord said to Joshua, 'Today I will begin to exalt you in the eyes of all Israel, so that they may know that I am with you as I was with Moses. Tell the priests who carry the Ark of the Covenant, when you reach the edge of the Jordan's waters, go and stand in the river.'" So God gave instructions, and this time God also shared what one of the impacts would be, one of the impacts that would come about from this particular act of obedience. That as the people of God followed God across the river, word would travel throughout Israel that God was with his leader, that God was with his people, and that his people were following God in obedience. You see, here's the point. Obeying God can have an impact far greater than you may know. That the leaders and the people go on to do what God had instructed. Check this out in Joshua 3, verse 17. Here's what it says. "The priests who carried the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord stopped in the middle of the Jordan and stood on dry ground while all Israel passed by until the whole nation had completely passed on dry ground." What God had instructed came about is what we just read in verse 17. And today, I want you to see in this story of crossing the Jordan River a few things. First, that God, in his perfect time, led the people to the boundary marker that they were to cross. Remember, they had been wandering in the desert for many years due to their choices and their disobedience. But at just the right time, God was about to lead them across this boundary into the promise. Second, the people obeyed God's instructions and they crossed how he told them to. They didn't just say, "God, you said we could cross. We're going to cross however we want." No, they followed the details of obedience as they crossed. And third, the impact of their obedience both brought them over the boundary and spread the news of God throughout the land. So my question is, how is God inviting you and me to follow him today? Is there a promise and an instruction in his word that is obedience for you today? Let's ask God for his help to obey. Let's choose in faith to obey. And as we do, God might be accomplishing more than we could currently see or understand through our obedience. Obedience is worth it. I'll see you next time.